Oda has just revealed the real truth behind Monkey D. Garp. He has always been a pirate working to dismantle the world government from the inside. Now ready to lock in and reunite with his family of Luffy and my goat Monkey Deadbeat Dragon in the final war. But this current reveal might also just give us the final piece we needed to uncover the truth behind God Valley. Cause turns out the reason all these top tiers even showed up in God Valley was to goon.
What did he say?
You know when Gaban tells Roger he can't use the captain card to call dibs? We all thought bro meant a fight against rocks, right? Nope, it was the first dibs on a baddie. All these dudes, even the Rocks Pirates, they were all there to goon.
Absolutely disgusting, by the way.
But before we get to that legendary moment, because there's so much more happening right there, we move 42 years ago at Foot Colony, the Temple of International Philanthropy Federation, who are getting raided by some evil, bad pirates. Who would try to rob a charity, bro? Like, they're helping people all around the world. Why would anyone do? Oh my god, it's the evil Rocks Pirates. I knew it. It's always those evil Rocks Pirates, man. Somebody call the Marines. Someone hit up the Gorosei, because these people need to be stopped. Why are you going after a charity? Okay, government propaganda aside, the Rocks Pirates, as we have found out, only attack and take from the corrupt world government. It's the same case right now, as Big Mom tells us that the money donated was actually being stolen by these goofy ass monks. The temple can't have them be exposed like that, so they are ready to bar the pirates in until the army shows up to take care of them. In this process, we get to witness the dynamics of the Rocks Pirates. It's every man for themselves. Heck, Shiki forgets about Whitebeard and Kaido under the tunnel as a whole ass bomb gets dropped on him. The Golden Lion is happy that if they die, he will get a bigger cut. Bro, that's your Nakama. What is Smoke doing? However, this is the strongest man in the world and the strongest creature. They aren't dying from basic cannonballs. Whitebeard literally starts causing an earthquake which begins to sink the island and everyone in it. Kaido, witnessing this devil fruit power, is envious that he can't do that. However, like a big bro, Newgate warns that he better choose wisely or he will be stuck with a lame power. It seems that Kyo, the Silver Axe, was also underground and he is livid at Shiki, who is trying to fly off, so no one blames him. I guess this is how their rivalry started. Because remember, after the Rocks Pirates disbanded, Silver Axe was the Golden Lion's biggest op. Shiki, with his goofy ass grin over here, acting like, oh, Kyo-san, I'm so happy you survived. I've been so worried sick over you. Now, before I reveal to you the biggest secret of God Valley, I need to tell you about One Punch Man Road to Hero 2, a mobile turn-based combat strategy card game that's officially licensed by the anime itself. You're literally reliving Saitama's glow up in story mode, punching your way through everything that makes him the K-Baldi hero. Like, you can even relive my goat Garo's entire story in game. He even has the whole iconic water steam rock smashing fist. Simply sit back and let the automatic combat take place, or when it's time, lock in, press the buttons and unleash your ultimate, because you want to flex on others, right? So hop into the PvP arena mode with your squad. However, what I love the most is the character cultivation. Any extra cards you get aren't wasted. Instead, you can use them to level up your heroes and create insane combos with signature moves like Justice Crash or Angel Rush. And so for you guys, the ABD community, the Deadbeat Agenda, I have a special code. Just use OPMR2H to get yourself 10 free draws to kickstart your journey. Trust me, you're gonna have fun, so download One Punch Man Road to Hero 2 right now, and by using our link in the description or pinned comment below, you'll be supporting the channel, and Monkey Deadbeat Dragon will show up in Elbaf if you go get the game. Thank you. That's a promise. While the crew makes all this ruckus and are almost at each other's throats, Rocks comes up and puts his foot down, showcasing why he is the group leader, the alpha. He reprimands the lot and makes sure the treasure is theirs, while Captain John informs that the Marines are already at the shore. Rocks and the crew might be eager for another fight against the Navy, but due to their infighting and their objective completed, it's not time for it. However, the Marines showing up so quick is very interesting here, as Whitebeard himself questions whether someone leaked their plans. Betrayal is something core to the Rocks Pirates members later in life. First, you have Linlin, who is so scared of betrayals that she pumped out 50 plus kids to not face it. Then Whitebeard's own family members like Teach or Squad betrayed him. Even Big Mom told Kaido, her little bro, to not trust Rocks and the crew too much. So there being a marine rat inside Rocks' crew is very plausible, especially since we know the world government is very good at this. Just look at Rocinante with Dofi, ex-Drake and the Toby Ropo, or CP9 inside of Galila Company at Water 7 for like 6 years. It's been over a decade of Rocks going on his crusade against Emu and nearly 3 years since they took over full elite, becoming the Rocks Pirates. That's plenty of time for a spy to be embedded inside the crew. Either way, the Marines have already opened fire. There is no time to prepare to sail away. So Rocks commands his crew to plunder everything and sink the navy. As we watch Rocks D. Zebek tear through these huge marine battleships with his Conqueror's hockey-coated sword strikes. Here we learn of his crimes. In just 2 years, Rocks Pirates have conducted 16 documented raids, 14 ports have been destroyed, 5 towns wiped off the map, and 1 nation brought to ruin. These stats might sound awful, but one could say that Luffy destroyed Dressrosa. However, in reality, he liberated the people from Doflamingo's rule. It was Dofi's birdcage that did the most damage in the first place. Rocks wiping off towns is likely a similar case. Furthermore, they also sunk 76 Navy battleships. We know how big that number really is, as the siege on Egghead cost Akainu like 100 battleships and 30,000 Marines. This was a huge proportion of the Navy's forces in the future, which showcases to us that Rocks was doing some serious damage to the world government. His crew only gets stronger with each passing feat since their infamy grows, attracting even more criminals to join their cause like Kyo the Silver Axe last chapter. The Rocks Pirates were so OP that even with Roger sailing the seas at the same time, this era was known as his time. With so much glazing, it made me wonder though, how can the world just forget about this legend? Because even a dedicated marine like Hina wasn't aware of this man. In our world, infamous pirates or people who cause an impact at this world scale would still be spoken of. Heck, why wouldn't the Marines want to publicize the death of such a man, like they did with Goldie Roger? Well, because Rocks wasn't just another emperor with their own little pocket territory in the new world. He wanted Emu's whole entire dominion, going after the world system itself. The world government's greatest fear is a pirate with such a cause. Rocks' crusade against Emu was about exposing something that they had spent 800 years keeping hidden. He was aiming straight at the Celestial Dragons or the ruling class. So when God Valley happened, the government didn't just take the win, they literally nuked bro's name from history. Instead of saying that Rocks was defeated as the headline, they instead said that Garp saved the gods from an evil pirate. What that pirate stood for was evil, so there is no need to talk about it. Every newspaper, every marine report, every wanted poster is gone. Anyone who knew too much wouldn't even speak out because they would probably be killed, because the Gorosei couldn't risk people remembering that there was once a man powerful enough to unite Kaido, Whitebeard, Big Mom, Shiki, Kyo under a single flag, which would showcase that opposition against the rulers was possible, inspiring the next Rocks Tibet. And this kind of erasure happens in our own world's history time and time again. In ancient Rome, they called it damnatio memoriae, basically condemning someone's memory. They would literally chip people's names off of monuments, melting coins with their faces, rewriting records so it's as if they never lived. During Stalin's Great Purge, political enemies were airbrushed out of photographs, erased from textbooks and turned into ghosts in the public record. Even colonial powers have rewritten the histories of the lands they conquered, deleting local heroes so the next generation of kids would grow up never knowing that people actually fought for them and resisted against these colonial powers. It was easier to control the population that way. The logic is same in the One Piece world. If you can destroy the memory of a man, you erase the danger of what he stood for. Remember what Dr. Harald said, when do you think people die? When they are shot with a bullet? No, it's when they are forgotten. Hence the world government didn't just want Rocks to die once, but the idea and his will for what he stood to die forever. No story or whisper of his name to light a fire in someone else's heart. By the time we reach the modern era, relics of the old generation like Garp, Sengoku, Whitebeard remember him, and they're not exactly eager to tell the next wave of pirates about the man who almost burned the world order to the ground. Furthermore, the seas of the One Piece world are vast and isolated. Islands are separated by weeks or even months of travel. Storms, whirlpools, and unpredictable climates make regular contact between islands almost impossible. Most people will never leave the home island they were born on. Their only view of the outside world comes from the occasional traveler or the arrival of the morning newspaper. The paper, known as the World Economic Journal, which is printed under the watchful eye of the world government. It arrives by news crew carrying carefully chosen stories. If an event isn't printed, most people will never hear of it. Even if they do, memories fade quickly without reminders. On remote islands, a name can vanish from common speech in a matter of months. After a few years, it becomes nothing more than a half-forgotten rumor. There are thousands of islands. Rocks only devastated like maybe 76, at max a few hundred. The government doesn't have to destroy every record by force by doing things this way. They can let time and distance do the work. Moving to King Harald though, the giants are visiting the nation of Enishi. Before they can even dock though, they are told to leave this instant because the island has just been deemed a lawless territory. Basically, they have lost their membership to the world government, having no rights or protections. Harald is angered by this, as the government shouldn't have the authority to decree such things. This nation helped Elbaf during the famine. They are a close ally of Harald's, and he can't just leave his friends be, so they are going to be picked away by pirates or be turned into celestial slaves. So Harald proclaims that they won't leave without repaying their debts. The Cypher Pool member warns again that Elbaf is under consideration for becoming a member nation. Intervening in government decrees would only hurt their bid. So either Harald helps Aishi, saving the pride and morality of the giants, or lets the government ravage this friendly island which helped Elbaf in the toughest of times, essentially giving away everything Harald stands for the sake of a deal with the devil. This is how sinister Imu and the world government is. In fact, all authoritarian or fascist systems of governance make you go through these bargains to slowly gain control over you and your morality. This is the cruelty of the devil, where he engineers impossible choices. They never demand you throw away your morals in one dramatic act. They chip away at them, one compromise at a time. First, they tell you to look the other way, just this once. Don't protect the people you swore to stand by, because doing so would harm negotiations. Don't speak out against injustice, because it might jeopardize your future, Elbaf's future. And once you agree to the first compromise, the next one becomes easier to take. It's basically like a slow poison. You learn to justify inaction with it's for the greater good of Elbaf, while each step draws you closer to serving the devil's interests, not your own. By the time you realize what has happened, you have traded away your values piece by piece until nothing's left but obedience to Imu, or the supreme leader. Authoritarian systems thrive on these bargains. They present their decrees as inevitabilities, then offer you the illusion of choice: obey and be rewarded, or resist and be destroyed. But the reward is always temporary or an illusion to begin with, as the empty throne and the reverie system of the world is all a facade. For Harald, this moment is a test. If he accepts the world government's decree, Elbaf may gain a seat at the table at the cost of abandoning an ally in their hour of need. Is Elbaf even Elbaf anymore for throwing away what they believed in? If he resists, he risks Elbaf's future but keeps his honor intact. But the last 50 years of relentless work to be recognized by the world is all erased. This is governments like Imu's set for every nation, every leader, every citizen, to make survival feel incompatible with their morality. Luckily, Harald made the right choice. He attacked the Navy ships, helping his friends in need, with the newspapers exposing Harald for sinking innocent battleships. They said that the Giants' alliance with the government was revealed as a ploy for the Giants to plunder even more. The good image they had cultivated for so many decades now lost to the world. The Giants are once again villainized as barbarians who can't coexist with civilized humans of the world government. As we know, they were actually the victims of the devil's plans. However, this incident gave Rox a chance for a big-ass "I told you so" when he visited Elbaf once again to recruit Harald for the fight against Marie Schwab. But the king of Elbaf is still reluctant. He won't even let Rox into the Sun World, relegating the pirates to Ida's bar in the underworld. Letting the government's biggest op inside Elbaf would destroy all hopes of the Giants ever being recognized by the world government. There will be headlines like "Big news! The King of Giants has teamed up with Rox, the most evil pirate ever to exist, who wants to destroy the world." Rox hates watching his friend beg the government for something they will never grant him. Both of them have similar goals of freedom and want to end oppression, yet the way they want to achieve it is very different. Harald was someone who held prejudice against humans until Ida showed him why that was wrong. Feels that if the Giants just talk to the Gorosei, to the other nations, they will have a change of heart, just like Harald did, ending racism with a yap session. Rox, on the other hand, doesn't believe words and assimilation would change an 800-year-old system, believing in the might of the sword instead. It's so bad that Harald has even shaved his own head in a way to atone for going against government wishes, as due to his choice of helping his friendly, he stayed true to his morals, but the king's action set Elbaf as a nation back. So not only is the head shaving showing the government how sorry he is, but also a punishment for abandoning his duty as the king of Elbaf, which meant making sure the island prospers in the future. Then we get an insane reveal. Monkey D. Garp is friends with Harald and made fun of his new bald head. What? That's big news, bro. That's big news. This shows us that Garp knows Elbaf and is friends with Harald, having met multiple times, with Rox also being familiar with the future hero of the Marines. He says that Garp hates the top brass of the world government, referring to the Gorosei and Imu. But the crazier statement is that Garp would be better off being a pirate rather than a Marine. This is huge, because Garp is already part of Sword and likely the person who started it in the first place. Now, I have made a whole 20+ minute video explaining the Neo Marines and how Garp will be the leader of it during the final war and all that, so go watch that video after this video if you want to learn more. But with this line by Rox, things go a little deeper, that the Neo Marines might just be the new Garp pirates. You see, Garp isn't a Marine, he is a Peacemain, a term Oda actually used way back in his original Romance Dawn one-shot. In that story, there were two types of pirates: Peacemains, who sail for adventure, freedom, and to help others, while the Morganians are greedy, cruel, and hungry for power. The original Luffy was straight up called a Peacemain, meaning he was a pirate in name but a hero in action. That's Garp, but for the marine side. He wears the coat of justice, but his justice is his own. He protects the weak, he laughs with the pirates, he defies orders when they go against his morals, just like Harald a page ago. So if Garp is basically a pirate at heart, why stay in a system he hates? Because as broken as the Marines are under the Celestial Dragons, they are still the only organization with the reach to protect the world. If he left, the only ones left in charge would be lapdogs like Akainu, ready to burn entire islands without a second thought. Because, you know, my goat monkey deadbeat dragon, he hasn't even started the revolutionaries yet, so who's gonna protect the people? If Garp becomes a pirate, even the good ones like Whitebeard only protect their own territories. There's no global pirate alliance patrolling every sea to keep civilians safe. So Garp stays with the Marines for the people of the world. And that's where his new crew at the end of One Piece comes in. Sword. Whether he founded it or shaped it later on, Sword is the embodiment of Garp's philosophy. These Marines hand in their resignation, give up their IDs, and operate outside normal jurisdiction. They can go against the system by ignoring the Celestial Dragons and still protect who they want to protect. They are basically a pirate crew flying marine colors, a Peacemain fleet with official resources. And now they've got Koby, Smoker, Fujitora, people who live by moral justice and not absolute justice. This whole faction inside the Marines wouldn't even gain such power if not for Garp's influence and clout. Due to his hero status and strength, Imu and the government can't just get rid of him so easily, so they tolerate. This is why Garp has always felt more like a pirate than a government man. He teamed up with Roger at God Valley to save civilians. He refused to kill Ace at Marineford. He's friends with Shanks, Whitebeard, Fishmen, Giants. Everyone loves Garp. Even his own fleet with Bogard is his own crew. He takes in Koby like a pirate novice and shows him the ropes. And that brings me to now. Garp is frozen on Hachinose by Kuzan. Kuzan didn't kill him though. Just like X-Drake inside Kaido's crew, Kuzan is playing the long game. He's in Blackbeard's ranks for a reason. When the time is right, he will turn freeing Garp. And now, he won't just be a vice admiral. He'll be standing alongside Luffy and my goat, say it with me, Monkey Deadbeat Dragon, and Sword, openly going against the world government for the very first time. And when this team up of the monkeys happens, I'ma call it the Garp Pirates, okay? This is the Garp Pirate. This man has been fighting for like 70 years trying to realize this dream. It has to be called the Monkey Pirate, the Monkey Pirate, the Monkey Crew, the three monkeys teaming up. Like it's literally like three different brands of like how to free from oppression, right? You have the Pirate King, Luffy, the world's most wanted man, Dragon, the hero of the Marines, Garp, like three different types of Peacemains or three varying methods to oppose oppression all coming together. Pirates, revolutionaries, and Marines sailing for one purpose of ending Imu's 800-year oppression. We then get a deeper look at what's happening with the Marines as well, with Harald gaining favor with the government by letting giants like John join the Marines, emphasizing how both he and Garp view change from within as a path towards freedom. However, Rox doesn't like the idea, deciding to plead Ida to talk some sense into the king. Since he isn't her child though, all Ida can do is tell both Rox and Harald to choose their friends wisely. This is like the second time in this whole chapter we've just talked about betrayal, choose your friends wisely, like don't just let nobody join, like vet these people who you're being friends with and letting them inside your circle. This is very sus, okay, and I'll explain why in just a bit. As we get a closer look at how the Celestials view the Giants, they are using fear to make sure they don't gain favor from the other humans or nations. Furthermore, what if the Giant loses their temper? Lives could be lost. Well, you know, a dude with a gun losing his temper would also cause lives to be lost. Even a simple sword can take lives. There is a nuance to every Giant. Not every Giant is gonna crash out, just like not every human is a bad human or is gonna crash out. The threat of a giant crashing out and killing more people is higher, but we haven't even seen evidence of such a thing happening. It's just baseless fear-mongering to push an agenda of discrimination, which gives power to the ruling Emu. Garp even calls this out, saying they are fine letting the giants join the navy. It's almost like Emu only views giants as weapons. Sengoku, who is currently a vice admiral, agrees that Harald is just an honest man trying to learn from history to change Elbaf, showcasing that he also favored the giants, having no prejudice. Suru brings a logical argument as well, saying that if he joins rocks, it will be terrible for the navy. They will definitely lose, to which the admiral of the time and future commander-in-chief Kong says that they all have good points. However, it's not up to Kong but the Gorosei to make such a decision of letting the giants into Emu's system. Meanwhile, there's big news in Hachinose. Shakuyaku, the baddest baddie of all the seas, has just quit being a captain of the Kuja pirates, which has devastated many. Okay, this is a very sad moment. Many lives were lost. Okay, when this reveal came out in Big News Morgan's newspaper, this was kind of messed up. Like, these guys are on the floor about to uninstall life. Okay, because to them, Shaki was the One Piece. They dreamt of finding her and being attacked by the Kuja pirates on the seas, hoping to maybe just get a chance to raise her up. Okay, all right, this is not a laughing matter. Stop laughing. Why are you guys laughing at this? This is messed up. Okay, like, the women of Rox's crew even have their own thoughts about all this. Gloriosa is confused about why Shaki quit. Big Mom thinks that she likely fell in love with a man just like Gloriosa and has quit to pursue him. To that, Gloriosa straight up calls Big Mom a hoe. Okay, like just read that, okay? She's calling her a hoe without calling her a hoe. Because, yeah, Big Mom is bumping out so many kids with so many different men all the time. She doesn't know what love sickness or love means. Stussy, on the other hand, is tired of this bullshit yapping. Okay, because Whitebeard doesn't even care about her. Like, she's jumping on Newgate, okay, trying to steal his mustache hair, likely to create Weevil in the future, and Whitebeard is just like, bro, leave me the heck alone, bro. We're trying to, like, save the world from oppression. We're trying to make Rox the king of the world. Get out of here. Bro, this video is so long. I'm going off rip now. Luckily, we don't have to wait 2 weeks to find out what happens to Shaki as the Kuja pirates show up in Hachinose. Now, the new captain is my goat, Monkey That Beat Dragon's future wife, Tritoma, who leaves Shaki in Pirate Island. The men are gooning instantly. They literally cannot believe she is real. Has she come to join the Rocks pirates like Gloriosa? Nope, she just wants to live there for a while. Shaki wanted to quit being a pirate, but the Marines won't just forgive her bounty or criminal record just like that. So she has chosen to hide out in Full Elite, asking the men to protect her. To which they are going wild. Like, yes, Shaki, they will protect you like their queen. Rocks is kind of GG, man. They're gonna join the Shaki pirates now. By just having a baddie around these bums start cleaning up the entire place. This is so funny. Shaki basically wants to start a bar, okay? To which the men get to work instantly. But just as the construction finishes, the men of the Rocks pirates show up to survey the commotion. Even these top tiers are stun-locked by Shaki's beauty. Every single one, Whitebeard, Shiki, Rocks, they are all having heart eyes and chest popping out like they're 5 Anji. Like, even Whitebeard, bro. Her bar is literally called Rip-Off Bar, and they are her first customer. This clearly is a 5 Anji upscale, because the power of gooning is probably now the final form of haki, okay? This is God haki. This is what Gaban was talking about. At the same time, we also learned that Shaki was actually known as the treasure of Hachinose, meaning she was the person stolen by the Celestials 38 years ago before God Valley, which brings new context to this Roger and Rocks panels from the Kuma flashback. Roger wasn't talking about Rocks when he said, finally, do you have any idea how I've felt this past year? He was referring to him not being able to see Shaki this whole time, bro. Even Gaban was saying no, using the captain card to call dibs, referring to Shaki and simping. Only Rayleigh has a nonchalant response. That's why the Huz chose him. You guys should learn from this. However, there is a bigger detail. Earlier in the chapter, Whitebeard hinted at a spy within the crew, opening up the possibility for moles inside Hachinose. What if Shaki, who is an expert at information gathering, was selling secrets about the Rock's crew to the Marines or even the world government directly? That way, they can keep tabs on the biggest threat to Imun. Then, a few years later, a Celestial likely wanted Shaki to be his wife. Thus, they kidnapped her. An even crazier plot twist would be the government used Shaki as a trap to kill Rocks in God Valley. Because in the same page, we learned from Saint Mars that if Elbaf wants to join the world government, all Harald has to do is kill Rocks, his best friend. Perhaps Rocks actually died by the hands of Harald, and that's why the King of Elbaf cut off his horns to atone. This is the devil's compromise I was talking about earlier. Rock's gotta give up his morality. That's a slippery slope. Either way, this video is so freaking long. Oh crap, the editors will kill me, so I had to end it right here. It was like another 10 minutes of yap, I guess. Maybe next chapter review I'll include the entire Shaki yap. Because the power of love, like this chapter showcasing all these like top tiers gooning, like it gives even more evidence towards what God Haki is, and 5 Anji probably has God Haki, chat. Also, one more thing, shout out to Horace Sogbudger. Sogbud? I don't know how to say that last name. I'm so sorry, Horace. Hey, yo,
What did he say?
Horse Sogbudger just donated $100 on stream. He donated $99, basically $100 during the live stream, which was insane. Just said Nakama, exclamation. So shout out to Horace. Like, everyone say thank you to Horace in the chat, because this stuff really helps us out. These are some tough times. Every week, Shueisha is banning one of our videos. It's actually insane. None of the videos are making money. It's kind of messed up, chat. So thank you so much for the support. It helps immensely to produce like these 25-30 minute videos. Thank you.